My name is Victoria and I am currently 45 years old. My hair is naturally blonde, although I sometimes dye it red. I would describe myself as a moderately shapely woman with a size 4 bust. I work as an accountant at a local factory that was founded by foreign investors about 5 years ago. Interestingly, this factory employs more than half of the population of our town. I am happily married and have remained faithful to my husband throughout our relationship. I possess qualities that make any man feel like a real man in my presence. My son, who is now 23 years old, successfully completed his studies at a local institute and then served in the Army. After his military service, he traveled to Chicago in search of a job. Fortunately, he was helped by his coworker's father, who turned out to be a director of a well-known company. After finding a new job, my son was able to earn a substantial income. Within a year, he was able to buy a nice car, rent an apartment, and even send money to support my husband and me. This significant turn of events occurred just 2 months ago. My son contacted me and asked me to host his coworker in our apartment for 2 days. Although we didn't lead an extravagant lifestyle, our apartment was quite decent, thanks to a recent renovation my son had done at our request, completely updated with new furniture. Upon Stephen's arrival at the train station, my husband kindly picked him up and brought him to our home. I prepared lunch for the 3 of us, during which we had a friendly chat. Afterward, my husband left for work, leaving me to enjoy my vacation. Stephen appeared to be an ordinary young man, approachable and devoid of any signs of wealth. He talked about his professional endeavors and my son's professional endeavors, as well as anecdotes from his childhood and a past relationship that ended abruptly with a breakup with a girl. Time seemed to fly by as Stephen briefly stopped by the local branch he was supervising and informed me of the purpose of his visit. In the evening, he returned with 2 large bags of food and suggested we gather around the table to eat. As darkness fell, I directed him to my son's room where he would sleep. After the renovation, my son had only slept in his room once since he came over rarely. During the night, I woke up to get a drink of water and saw Stevens in the kitchen. He was quite a grown man, about 180 centimeters tall, broad shoulders, muscular. He saw me, smiled, said he wanted water. Looked at me in my nightie and at my breasts. Wished me a good night and left. I drank some water and went to bed. But Stephen was in front of me. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I fell asleep with these thoughts. In the morning I felt my husband's touch, but for some reason I remembered Stephen's. I got up, took a shower, washed my face and went to the kitchen in my bathrobe. Half an hour later Stephen came in. He had already had time to wash and dress before work. I fed him and he ran off, saying goodbye. Until lunchtime I did housework, cleaning, cooking, washing. At 3 o'clock my husband called me and said that he was leaving for 2 days on a business trip and would not have time to come home. I was a little upset. In the evening Stephen came over, we had dinner, and, I don't know why, I suggested we drink wine. He agreed. We drank 3 bottles of wine, I got pretty tipsy, and we talked about neutral topics. There was no hint of intimacy on either my part or his. When I was about to get up and do the dishes, he stopped me and did the dishes himself. He cleared the table. We had another glass of wine and he suggested we go to bed. I couldn't stay on my feet well, I hadn't drunk like that in a long time, and he gently led me to the bedroom. I thought he touched my breasts a couple times on purpose. When he led me into the bedroom, we stood across from each other and were on the same level, and before I knew it, he was kissing me on the lips, then he was on the bed and we were kissing. I was just floating in his arms, kissing his neck. After a minute, a powerful shiver ran through me. And I thought I had lost consciousness for a while. It was an incredibly unfamiliar sensation for me. The consumption of alcohol must have caused the feeling of relaxation. In all my 23 years of marriage, I had never experienced such a sensation. After I took a shower, my son's friend took one as well. We then dispersed to our rooms. The next morning I woke up around 8 o'clock feeling a slight headache. It dawned on me that I had slept with my son's boyfriend. At first, I thought it was a dream. I got out of bed, washed my face, and went to the kitchen. An hour later, Stephen came out, hiding his eyes, and greeted me with a good morning. He mentioned that he had a plane to Chicago that evening. I hid my eyes too, and we ate breakfast together in silence. He finally broke the silence and expressed his deep satisfaction with what had happened the day before. He expressed regret that he couldn't resist, but admitted that mature women were his weakness. He assured me that he would keep the secret to himself, and if I wanted, we could both forget about it. There would be no trace of the encounter, and my son would be left in complete ignorance. I can't explain why, but it brought me a sense of relief. At that moment, he showed his masculinity again. He came up to me, took my hand, and led me into the bedroom. No one had ever taken that kind of initiative with me before, but I found that I liked it. Afterward, he went to take a shower and then came back to kiss me. He apologized again, thanked me for my hospitality, and left. I spent a good part of the day reflecting on the experience. It was the first instance of infidelity with a man who could easily be mistaken for my own son. However, I reassured myself that I had had fun and a new experience and that I could try similar endeavors with my husband. Farewell.